And I jumped on today because I wanted to talk to you again, not just about the goodness of God, because God is good every day, but I jumped on because I want to talk to you guys about the fact that um, on yesterday, I saw where they brought a bill back up to Congress talking about adultery being criminalized. Like it's going to be a crime to commit adultery, right? And one of the things I thought about was the fact that, wow, we really have to have government step in to kind of look over and foresee over our marriages, right? And it's like, what in the world is going on, right? So I jumped on because they were saying that it'll be like legal in 16 states, and it had been for a while just sitting, and it's coming back up again, and there are states that's trying to appeal it because like my husband said, there could be a lot of people, and I'm thinking the same thing, that would be having to pay a hefty crime for hefty fee for committing adultery, right? And the thing about that is so many things could be made out of that I want to talk to you about today. Because first of all, it used to be a thing where it says religion and state was supposed to be separate, right? But they did away with that, so much so that they took religion out of school. And I think that was one of the biggest mistakes that ever could have happened, right? It's not really about religion, but having a spiritual relationship with God. But the fact that they took it out of school, I feel like took away any foundation that could have gave our kids a fighting chance of just having a moral compass, right? And although we should have that moral compass inside of us, we should know right and wrong. A lot of times you become a product of your environment. So if we're not being taught in school certain things about treat people like you want to be treated, be kind, be respectful, then you're gonna adapt to those environment. And if your environment is toxic, if it's full of crime and just disrespect and ghetto and all of that, then that's what's going to happen, right? Sometimes you don't escape those things, and you don't know better that you should treat people like you want to be treated, because that's not a shot at ghettos or anything like that, right? Because we all been there, done that. But if you was born with a silver spoon in your mouth and you don't know anything about struggle, then keep living, because there's other ways that you struggle in life. But I've digressed. Getting back to the fact that I had to ask myself, what is it that happened that the government has to step in on every factor of our life, right? And I think it's kind of sad that it has is even being considered to be a crime, right? That you would actually have to pay a healthy fee. They said thousands of dollars if you get caught commit adultery. The other side of that is if you get caught commit adultery, then there's the cost that you would have to pay if your spouse decides to divorce you. So what is going on, guys, that we have lost the sanctity of marriage, right? What is going on that people say that people don't even want to get married anymore, that a lot of women want the kids and don't want the marriage. A lot of people don't want the responsibility of being in a committed relationship. A lot of people just like, marriage is a joke. Why get in it? Because I know we've all heard the fact about that there are more married men and single women inboxes there are of single men, right? So what is actually going on when it comes to the institution of marriage? The first thing, guys, is that I think that we make a mistake and we go in it as an institution, right? We go get married, and then we know that that has a lot to do with being accounted for in the government as a married couple, and we all know there's a business transaction behind that, right? We also know that. A lot of times people get married because they feel like that somebody looks good on paper. Sometimes people get married because they don't want to be alone. Sometimes people get married just because they can get married, right? But the bottom line is that it goes back again to love. It goes back again to God. And I need to help you because this is not my first rodeo, right? This is not me trying to figure it out. The knowledge that I have that I can help people is tremendous, right? So what I'm trying to tell you is that the thing that we need to do first of all is get back to the sanctity of marriage. You should be marrying a person because you want to spend the rest of your life with that person, because you have things in common, because you have values in common, because you love each other, because that's your person, right? I don't hear a lot of people saying too many a lot now, like that's my person, that's my safe place, that's where I find my peace, that's where I find my rationale, that's where I find my sanctity, that's why that's what the person I give when we make love, the whole world stops, right? That's the person that I could be with day in and day out and everything gets better. That's the person I cannot see myself with, right? We have to get back to love is enough, because as I stated in some of my other videos, people keep saying love is not enough. Like love, we're so quick to follow suit, like Simon says, right? So when one person said love is not enough, then it became this cliche thing where love is not enough because love is not going to pay my bills. Love is not going to keep me this. Love is not going to do this. Love is not going to put food on the table. But I completely disagree, because listen, God is love. And because God is love, we have to get back to love, because of the simple fact love will cause you to do things that you wouldn't ordinary do, right? Love will cause you to get a job and say, I'm going to make sure that my family is taken care of. So love will make you do that. Love will make you be loyal to that person and will not commit adultery. Love will cause you to do the right things when the wrong thing presents itself to you. So what I'm trying to tell you is that, hello, what I'm trying to tell you is that you have to get back to love. The simple fact that the government feel like that there has to be a law in place to say that if you commit adultery, then you're going to be found guilty of a crime. Like, it's ridiculous. We're already in a situation where everything is being controlled by the government. Whether we can have an abortion, whether we can go to the doctor and have this done, whether we can freeze our eggs, whether we can vote this way, because that's something that's happening now as well. The actual vote itself is being threatened. The way that you can send in your ballots, the way that you can cast your votes, the way the stipulations in which you can vote. And if we don't begin to open up our eyes and see what's going on, then the sanctity, the marriage itself is going to be again one of those things that's controlled. So it's almost like what gives, because you have to go back to love. The reason why people saying, oh, give me the kids and I don't want marriage, is because they don't feel like there's any faithful people out here. Well, what is the deal with that? Well, again, you have to go back to love. Love is enough. And the reason why I say this is not Simon Says, because too many people do what other people do. Too many people think about what other people say. Too many people would divorce their spouse, be at home lonely at night and crying about something, being lonely, when you could have taken the time to work it out with your spouse, but you was too busy worried about what he said and what she said. And if you're grown and you're mature, then you've gotten to the point in life, that people would tell you what they would do, but when they were in the situation, they would do the completely opposite of what they tell you. We have to start thinking for ourselves, and that is in everything. And that is not to put anybody down or to criticize anybody. But again, the same thing I told you about like yesterday, you have to have spiritual eyes so that you can see and hear from God. You have to spend time with God so that you can hear what God is telling you, and in reference and things, in reference to your marriage, in reference to your life, in reference to who you deal with. The reason why you can't see your spouse is because you haven't allowed yourself to be seen by God so that you can see God. Because listen, God see you, but you got to get in the presence of God so that God can give you what you need, so that God can direct you. But the fact that this marriage thing is on the table to say, well, if you commit adultery, it's going to be a crime. Yeah, how many people is going to be paying thousands and thousands and thousands of money? Because of the simple fact of the matter is, why can't you simply tell your spouse what you desire? We have to get back to feeling and to being genuine, because a lot of times we are so desensitized to everything that's going on to the earth that we don't even recognize that we're not even ourselves, that we don't even look like God anymore. right? Because anytime that has to be something that the United States government is concerned with, then why don't we see that we're in trouble as a people? Do you think that if I go through something with my husband go through something with me, if something happened, that we want the government in the middle of it saying you cheated on your spouse? Not only is it hard enough for the us as a married couple ourselves, but for it to be played out in the courtroom and have to pay a fine for cheating on your spouse. Like, where does the line stop? We don't even see everything that's going on. This is just another thing that controls us. And we keep saying, oh, we're in a democracy and we can't. No, we can't. We're in a confederacy state, right? Confederacy place right now where we don't have any choices, where we're beginning to have to get permission for any and everything we do. So before that bill goes across another desk and it's approved, we need to get it together. I don't want the government in the middle of my marriage. I don't want the government telling me what I can and cannot do. And I'm not going to go commit adultery on my husband. God help me, and my husband on me. But what I'm trying to tell you is that we have to get back to love. Okay. Hello, guys. I can't see who's saying hello. Um, is that Bentley Pomeray? You said give you a shout. Hello. Okay, so guys, I'm not going to be on here much longer because I just wanted to jump on here and give you something to think about. But I want to be able to be able to be a help, guys, when I'm telling you that we have become so desensitized to everything that's going on, and we're not looking at the bigger picture of what's happening, right? Excuse me, those who are single and you are looking for somebody, listen, let me tell you something. God will send you a plentiful bounty of men, a plentiful bounty of women when you get in his presence and you look at God, and so that God can show you. That's the first step. The first step is to be happy with you, to be content with you, to know who you are, to spend time with God so that God can show you. The hardest thing I ever went through was putting my eyes on God and God showing me who I was. It was not pretty. It was not pretty. You just ask yourself over and over again, who am I that God loves me? Right? And when you realize that God loves you and all your mess, all your wickedness, all your sin, all the stuff you did, and you still here by grace and mercy, it allows you to give grace and mercy to somebody else. So you have to love you and begin to be comfortable with you, be content with you, so that and heal in places that you have not healed, from broken relationships, from relationships that were not healthy, so that God can bring you your spouse. Once you do that, then you won't take all these baggages into your marriage and into your relationship that y'all got to fight through, that should have already been healed, that causes you to take that person through something that John did, and causes you to take you through something that that person did, that Bethany did. You understand what I'm saying? You have to understand that in order to be in a relationship, you first have to be whole yourself. Too many people looking for people to make them whole. You going into the relationship half, talking about make you whole. No, you should have two wholes so that it's an overflow, and God just completes the overflow. You understand? So you have to be in that place. And then the other thing is, which the example I keep saying, that this is not Simon Says. Like, for example, today I was driving, right, and it was like 12 cars in one lane. So when I came up on the end of the cars, I was saying to myself, this whole lane is open over here and for quite a ways. And I said, I wonder why everybody right here. So I went and got on into the left lane. When I got into the left lane, I ended up getting through like three lights as all these cars were still sitting. And there was no reason why all of those cars were sitting, but it was the fact that everybody else saw everybody else sitting their way. So nobody dared to get over into the left lane. No reason whatsoever. Just monkey see, monkey do. Right. And that's the way I feel like when it comes to the government and everything that's going on. I feel like nobody wants to speak out. Everybody just going with the flow because they trust the government with your life. People trust what the government say, what they do, what goes on with everything before they trust God. And if you trust God, God will allow you to see exactly what's going on. So if you're looking for your spouse and you trying to figure this thing out, the first thing you got to do is listen. You got to watch, you got to see the big picture. Why is it that this is beginning to be a law, or it's a law that is trying to come into fruition, right? And this is just another thing of controlling us. That we shouldn't have to have people tell us that we got to pay a crime for committing adultery, because you shouldn't be committing adultery. Where is it that people stop hurting when you hurt the one you love? Why is it that people are on TikTok saying, come on, go with me to cheat on my man? Right? It's like a big thing. Come on and go with me as let me show you how many women I can call at one time, tell I love. It's so easy to get caught up in the hype of what people think is okay now. And it's not okay. It is not okay. If you don't want to be with somebody, leave them alone. If you're not ready to get married, don't get married. And if you get married, you need to understand that your body is no longer your body. So when you go out there and you commit adultery, guess what you're doing? You breaking your own body down, because you're one now. So you break down your household, you break down your finances, you break down the communication, you break down the trust, you break down the love. You only hurt yourself. And that's the part that people don't understand, right? That's the part that people don't understand. So listen, I'm going to go, but I just wanted to bring those points to you today. And those points was simply to let you know that we have to get back to love. We have become desensitized. And I wanted to use the example of the court cases that New York, I think right now, is passing that it's a crime to commit adultery. It is going too far. There's so many things going on, guys, and I'm going to try to get to a lot of it as I jump on and do more YouTube. But what I want you to do today, if you're in a relationship with someone, I need you to consider them. I need you to consider them, because this is why this bill is going this way. Because perhaps the court is seeing too many divorces. They're seeing too many crimes where people are killing each other, crimes of passion. And now it's like, okay, it's time for us to step in. And my thing is, why as a people can't we have some type of control over ourselves and what goes on in our life? After a while, we're not going to have the ability to worship freely. That's happening in a lot of places. We're not going to have the ability to marry who we want. It's going to be stipulations on why do you want to marry this person, or there might be cases to why, marriage may be put on the back burner, or even, what you do in the privacy of your home could be could be something that is going to be in front of the court. So guys, we have got to do better. We have got to go back to love. We have got to go back to love. We have got to give it back to God. And I'll talk more on that another day, about actually your body not being your body, so that I can break that down, and also about just getting back to love and what that looks like. Okay, I just wanted to jump on and give you that. This is Dr. Michelle. You guys have a blessed one. Peace.